Hey everyone, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com again. It's www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com, the best place on the internet for clinical trials content and information, hands down. Anywhere else, the rest just don't compare. Sorry to say. We get asked tons of questions and we appreciate it, and we do our best to get back to you with video responses. A very typical question, a very common question we get, I guess, an FAQ, if you will, of what we get is, will I be a guinea pig if I enroll in a clinical trial? And Don, I know you kind of hate the use of that term.
I sure do. I don't like that term guinea pig because, first of all, you have to ask yourself, what is a guinea pig? It's a little four-legged animal that runs around, and if somebody's going to experiment on that animal, number one, it's not human testing, and number two, it can't consent. It can't say, hey, no, I don't want to do this, or yes, I do want to do this. And that's why I don't like that term. I know it's a playful term for some people, and they like to use it, but
it's controversial.
It is controversial. I've had professionals throw that term. Oh, you want guinea pigs? And I'm like, oh, here we go. But the proper term in my thoughts, no, you're not a guinea pig. Once you learn more and more about research, yes, no one knows what the outcome's going to be, but because there are certain scientific approaches taken to this, you've got clinicians involved, you've got every aspect to protect your health and your life. You got all these safeguards in place to make sure that to try to make sure that nothing happens. Obviously, there's no guarantee on anything. There's no guarantee you're not going to walk out the door and the sky fall down on your head.
Yeah, it could happen.
It could happen, yeah. But nobody can give you a 100% guarantee, but they can guarantee you that for the most part, that all safety precautions are taken. That's why we go through all the physicals and the blood draws and EKGs and all that stuff to make sure that you're somebody that's healthy enough to do this study.
Mm-hmm. Last I checked, guinea pigs, they don't get informed consent. Yeah. They're not given the rights. They're not paid for their time. They're not reimbursed if they get injured because of a study. They're just thrown in a cage. And I don't think anyone has done a clinical trial that way that's a human being, with the exception of maybe Nazi Germany when they did their own clinical trials.
Pretty much.
But, I mean, certainly not in today's day and age. If you join a clinical trial, you are far from a guinea pig.
Exactly. We have what's called the informed consent. And that informed consent discloses all aspects of that study, everything from the protocol or what steps are going to be involved in your visits, how many visits you're going to go into, how much you get paid, who the physician is that's running the study, who the sponsor is, who sponsors the study, the number for the IRB, which is an independent review board that makes sure, again, that everything's being done ethically and safe, and that way, if you do have a problem and you're not getting it resolved through the actual investigational site that you're going to for the study, you've got another number to call that's independent of that study that will look into your questions and your issues.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that a professional, someone in the industry, was it a doctor?
It was.
He said, "Oh, you want guinea pigs?"
Yeah, it was a doctor.
Why do you think these supposedly educated clinicians are referring to clinical trials this way?
I think it goes back to lack of knowledge. I mean, it doesn't mean they're not good doctors, and I know to become a doctor it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication and focus. But that doesn't mean that you're going to know everything about everything, and people have their, things that they have their stigmas about, and I think that's probably one of theirs. Maybe they had a bad experience with a client in a study. They really didn't understand the study. No one explained to that doctor what their client was going into. And they could have lost income from that patient as well, because they were in a trial and they couldn't access them. Who knows? I didn't delve into it. I just okay, here we go. It's time to clarify this
topic once again. Yeah, it seems like one of the biggest questions people have is, hey, clinical trials, will I be a guinea pig?
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully with enough education, and hopefully other people can do the same type of education to their study participants, we'll all kind of get a better idea of exactly what clinical trials are and how a clinical trial participant is different than a guinea pig. Hopefully we can understand that at some point.
And that's why we do what we're doing, is to make sure that you're informed. You can go on and you can look at our different videos and blogs, listen to Dan and I or some of the other physicians that are talking, that are involved in this arena, some of the other people that have participated in studies, and listen to their experience.
Check out the interviews.
That way when you go into it, you go into it with your eyes wide open, you know what you're getting into, or if you decide not to, you're making an informed decision.
And a lot of it is the research clinics. If you go to our interviews, even the people who have had bad experiences, they don't refer to themselves as guinea pigs. With the exception of one guy we talked to, and I blame the site for that. I blame the research clinic, because they weren't going out of their way to ask him, how are you doing? Do you have any side effects?
Oh, yes,
He really felt like he was a guinea pig. He actually used that word.
Yeah.
And who am I to argue with him at that point?
Like a communication, you have to communicate with the subjects that are coming in, or you as a site will never know what's going on, but that's another topic we can talk about.
Yeah, so research clinics, we need your help to dispel this myth as well.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for watching Dan and Don from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.